Have you ever looked at an ancient text and wondered if there's something more going on, like something hidden just beneath the surface? Well, today we're diving headfirst into a really fascinating puzzle. We've got this single, super cryptic source that suggests there's a deep numerical symmetry built right into the Quran. So right off the bat, the source material just drops this massive question on us. Is there a hidden numerical code in the Quran? And you know what? That is the central mystery we are going to try and unravel together in this explainer.
And here it is. This is what we're working with. I mean, at first glance, it just looks like a total jumble of numbers, weird abbreviations, and connections that make almost no sense. It's really cryptic, isn't it? But our goal today is to treat this thing like a set of clues and see if we can actually decode the logic behind it. Okay, so when you're faced with a code this dense, the best way to start is to find a loose thread, something you can pull on. And thankfully, the source actually gives us one. So our first step is to zero in on the simplest instruction we can find, this whole concept of finding the center. So the first key the source gives us is this idea it calls mid. And it seems pretty straightforward, right? It's just an instruction. Find the middle number in a sequence of numbers. This is our way in. This is how we're going to start to understand the system's logic. Let's test this out with the very first example from our source. It gives us mid 1 to 3. Okay, so the numbers are 1, 2, and 3. The middle number is, obviously, 2. Simple enough. So far, the logic is holding up. And the source gives us another one just to make sure we've got the pattern down, mid 1 to 5. So you've got the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the one smack in the middle is 3. Yep, the rule is consistent. We're definitely on the right track here. Now let's look at this last mid example. This one is mid 5 to 9. If we follow the same pattern, the middle number between 5 and 9 is 7. Okay, now this number is important. Make a mental note of it because 7 is the first major key that's going to unlock the rest of this whole puzzle. All right, so we've got the mid concept down. We're ready for level 2. Let's move on and see how this simple idea starts to build into something way more complex. Let's get into the equations. Okay, this right here is the central mathematical statement that we have to unpack. The source just throws this line at us. 10 plus 11, 7, equals 1x 7 equals 17 equals 21 equals 3x 7. It's this chain of equalities, and it seems to be linking a bunch of key numbers together. So what is it really trying to tell us? If we actually break that long chain down, we can see something pretty intentional going on. On one side, we have 10 plus 11, which, is 21. And on the other side, we have 3 times 7, which is also 21. It's like the source is creating this perfect mathematical balance with the number 21 right in the middle. And hey, look at that. There's our number again, 7. See, it's not just some random piece in here. Remember, 7 was the answer we got from our mid 5 to 9 calculation. And now we see it right here, acting as this crucial multiplier in the main equation. The source is definitely trying to tell us this number is significant. But wait, there's another number the source keeps pointing to, 17. It just pops up a few times in that cryptic line, almost like it's a standalone point that needs emphasis. It's kind of positioned like it's another key, maybe the result of some hidden logic that's connecting everything. So we've kind of figured out the mechanics, the how of this whole thing. But that leaves us with the biggest question of all. Why? Why these numbers? Well, the source's answer is that this was never just a math puzzle. It's supposed to be a map. And now, we're about to see how these numbers allegedly connect directly to the text of the Quran itself. So, what is the deal with all this numerology? Well, the source isn't just playing some kind of number game for fun. It's making a really bold claim that these patterns, these very specific numbers, are directly tied to the physical structure and the very foundation of the Quran. And right here is where the source lays all its cards on the table. As you can see, it's drawing these really direct lines from its numbers to specific Quranic terms. So symmetry or symmetry gets linked to the number 7. The key number 17 is connected to Surah 1, which is the first chapter, and it even references Juz 30, which is one of the 30 sections of the Quran. Let's really focus in on the biggest connection the source is trying to make. It is specifically linking the number 7 to this idea of symmetry, and the number 17 to Surah al-Fatiha, the very first and most important chapter of the entire Quran. This is the core argument, right here. The numbers aren't random. They're supposedly foundational.
Okay, so let's pull all of these different threads together as we get to our conclusion and just take one final look at this symmetrical view that's being presented. So here's the logic, from start to finish. First, we had the mid concept, which was used to pull out key numbers, especially the number 7. Second, these core equations created a kind of symmetry that reinforced just how important the numbers 7 and 17 are. And finally, the source claims these numbers are then deliberately mapped onto the Quran's structure, like Surah 1, all to reveal some kind of intentional, hidden symmetry. So we've decoded the source's internal logic, but it kind of leaves us with a much, much bigger question. It's not really about whether this specific code is true or not, but it's about the nature of patterns themselves. What do we see when we are actively looking for them? And how do we tell the difference between real meaning and just coincidence? That's definitely something to think about.